Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I used all my puff shrooms.
What?
I used all of them.
Oh, man.
They're all gone.
Well, that's because they're the best.
I used like 6 of them every battle.
I'm just stalling because I don't know what I am, but I'm Claire.
You're Claire Nuff.
I'm Claire Enough. Yeah, I'm Claire Nuff. Thank you. And this is
Make That Game,
where we pitch the latest,
the greatest,
new video game ideas
that will not ever get made. They aren't enough.
They're not enough.
They're not idea enough.
Anyway, we did see the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be related to, I think, anything else, unless you're...
We didn't see Oppenheimer, though.
No.
That's not what we do here.
That's not what we do here.
What? How can you make a game about Oppenheimer? That actually exists.
I was going to say, there's a lot.
It's called Hearts of Iron.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, there's a lot of World War II.
Oh, yeah. Hearts of Iron is like I feel like the people who would be interested in Oppenheimer are currently playing Hearts of Iron 3.
Gotcha. I just know that this is a quick tangent, but I'm in a book club, and I feel like there's a lot of historical fiction about World War II.
Yeah.
And we were literally reading a description of a book, and they said, it's World War II, and I literally groaned. I was like, oh, but we're reading it, so I'll let you know.
Oh, man.
No worries. Anyway, do you have a World War II or Barbie or completely different inspired game to pitch to us today?
Completely different.
Okay,
actually.
Good.
Oh, no, I had a name for this one, and now it's slipping my mind.
Well, start talking about it, and we'll see if it comes back.
Jeez.
Anyway, we pitch shows. I always say that. We pitch games on this show. Oh. This is a show where we pitch games to each other. It is a podcast.
More of a tell, I guess. Show and tell. It's more of a tell than a show because we're not showing anything.
All right.
We're telling.
We can, if you want to do that. But so that's what Isaac is trying to remember the name of his game that he's going to pitch to me. All
right. Man, it was a good name, actually.
I think it'll come to you.
Hopefully it does come. And hopefully it comes to someone because the theming is entirely based off of the game.
Oh, okay.
But in this game, you play as a jester on top of a tall tower. And there is another jester on top of a tall tower. And you throw insults at them.
It's gorillas, isn't it?
No, because really, I mean, it could be, but it's the normal trappings of the game. It's another one of those like 2-mode games that I like to come up with. It is like a turn-based RPG, so like the different like insults and jokes that you have are your different moves. Mm-hmm. So instead of being like attack, you've done 24 damage. It's you've insulted their mother.
It's like in the Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Yeah. The talkback challenges or whatever they're called.
Yeah, basically the character didn't have a superpower, but they didn't want to not have a superpower, so they made her just sassy.
Yeah. So yeah, like the instead of like the fire spell, you have like different kinds of insults that you can do, and like different enemy jesters are weak versus specific kinds of insults.
But I thought there was just 2 on each tower. No?
Well, yes.
Okay.
So you battle jester to jester to become the top jester.
So is the other tower just like cycling jesters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and there might be different towers.
Okay.
Because the second mechanic, the second phase or mode is if you've taken enough damage to be tossed off your feet, you fall off the tower. But a la Sexy Hiking, what's the new modern game that people would actually understand the reference to?
I've never heard of that one.
Getting Over It with Bennett, or Getting Over It by Bennett. Foddy? Getting Over It. Basically, these are games where you control like the character's arms and they have like a pick in their hand and you use it to like kind of like move yourself over obstacles. And like hoist yourself up. What?
Just saying, you really just can't stick to one game design
What do you mean?
It's just so different from the first half of the gameplay.
Yeah, so you get knocked off the tower, and then depending on how much you got knocked off the tower, like how much damage you took over like whatever threshold it is, you get knocked further away from the tower. But then this is the opportunity to catch yourself by like throwing your arms out and catching yourself on one of the protuberances of the tower. Like it might have like gargoyle that you can grab onto, or just like a ledge or something to stop yourself, because if you hit the bottom, then that's game over. There's no way to climb up the tower again, but like you just have to keep going back and forth until you've completely knocked your opponent off.
Well, so you can attack when you're not on the top?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's just shouting up at them instead of shouting directly across at them.
Okay. All right.
And that what was the name of my game?
Nothing's coming. Like Tower of terrible puns. I don't know.
Tower of Fools.
Yeah, something like that, right?
All right, well, now it's called Tower of Fools.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, this game is interesting to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's like conceptually confusing. But I mean, I shouldn't say conceptually confusing. I should say it's narratively confusing.
Okay.
Conceptually, I understand what you're talking about. Narratively, I don't understand why any of it's happening.
Well, it's happening because the king's trying to figure out the best jester. So he has them in a jester competition.
Now I'm sold on it.
Wait, best jester? That could also be a name.
No, I like that. Okay, so see, that's the hook. That's what's going to get me to play, is like you're competing to be the best for the kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you sell it.
Yeah.
Now I'm involved,
okay.
And now
Good.
I'm intrigued.
All right. Thank you for pitching my game to yourself, basically.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. So yeah, best jester on the West.
Yep. How about you? Do you?
I mean, I shouldn't be saying anything about games that make no narrative sense, because get ready for a game that makes no narrative sense.
Is that the name of it?
No.
Oh.
It's called Flamingo Color Farm.
No, we're starting off strong. I don't understand. I already understand the narrative and completion. Like,
so you're in charge of a farm of flamingos.
Yep.
But you know how flamingos, they're pink because they eat the little shrimps?
Yes.
So instead of that, you get to feed them different things to make different colored flamingos.
Yep, the narrative is all fitting together so far. Where does it fall apart here?
And like the gameplay is basically that I was going to have it be you sell different color flamingos for different prices, almost like Animal Crossing flower breeding. But then it's like, that's sad. I don't want to sell the flamingos.
What if you sell them to happy people?
Yeah, as like pets and friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Or what if it's like every like game week you go to a flamenco competition and you get prize money for your prettiest flamingo?
Why not both? Why not have competition flamingos
and for sale flamingos? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like part of the gameplay is like developing the new foods for them. So like
finding ingredients.
Yeah, finding ingredients, growing things, because it's a farm too. So
oh my god.
Yeah.
This is the best farm sim ever.
And then, you
Stardew Valley, watch out.
You would have to like quarantine certain ones if you want to like get certain colors, just like in a pen. And then you could like breed colors together for like prettier. Well, no, you can't, because it's all based on what they eat.
No, yeah, it's all about
so
diet.
You'd give
all
them
flamingos
like
are white.
So you'd have to like separate them and then like give them like different combinations of colored food to like get different color combinations. And then I just got an idea when you said like, flamingos are white. It's like that could actually be one of the most expensive, because like you have to give them a food that has no color, and that's really hard.
Oh, but it still keeps them happy, because
Right.
you need happy flamingos.
Exactly.
So you got to find the mythical white potatoes.
Ooh, maybe. Well, that's a spoiler for the game.
Are potatoes white?
They're kind of like a tan on the inside. I mean, I think on the inside they can be pretty white. Like there's a lot of veggies on the very inside that's white. Like a radish is pretty white on the inside.
Oh, I bet flamingos love radishes. The animal that eats shrimp. I bet they
look. These are
magical flamingos, fantasy flamingos.
They are. They're not real. They're in your flamingo color farm.
Yeah, good.
So I mean, very simple. Again, like I was gonna say I've been in a trend of very like cozy, easy games, but last week was not that. So last week was Skipping Rocks.
Yeah,
an unhinged game.
A hardcore game.
But the week before was cozy. This week's cozy. I'm getting cozy. We're playing Flamingo Color Farm.
Okay. I like Flamingo Color Farm. I think you alluded to it. I just wanted to confirm that that this is a mechanic that you either thought of or agree would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Having different ingredients with like different color intensities. Like you might start with very basic pinks, but then like you can search for like the ultimate shrimp. And it's like a bright neon pink. It's like the ultimate pink saturation. So like where one flamingo, like one shrimp variety might cause, like after 100 weeks you get a pink flamingo. This one, you eat one and you're instantly pink.
I like that. Yeah, so it's like also a time game too. Yeah, it's like how long do they have to eat the food to get enough saturation?
Yeah, 1 pink point shrimp, 2 pink point shrimp.
Will they get enough by the fair?
Yeah, and that gives you the onus to seek things out beyond just like, oh, I would like a purple food. You got to find the best purple food.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
So I mean,
collab.
Well, that's what this is all about.
Oh, I thought it was a competition.
Well, we never choose a winner or anything. We just kind of say nice. And
well, that's why people email to make that game winner at G.
That's not real.
No, it's not.
You're not allowed to say unreal email addresses. Illegal. I mean, that could be a fun audience member activity if they wanted to do that.
No,
if they wanted,
then we would get fierce. It would destroy the balance.
I'm not competitive.
And cool-headedness. You're not competitive?
Maybe I'm. You're looking at me like I am competitive.
Wow, folks.
I don't think I would. Even if I was, well, I just remembered I lost a tiny little friendly work competition, and I was pretty sad about it. So maybe I would be sad. Don't rate us. Rate us on iTunes, not on our games.
Yes, rate the podcast, not the ideas. Claire.
Yeah.
Do you have a question or topic, a big point of discussion that we can answer or talk about on this podcast episode?
Yes, I do have a question. My question is about like longevity of a game.
Okay.
So thinking of my Flamingo game, but also thinking about the game I honked and bonked recently, Sticky Business. You know, these games don't have a necessary end point. You know, it's not like Tears of the Kingdom where there's going to be a very clear your game is over moment. Kind of like Animal Crossing or, you know, a lot of these kinds of games. So I guess like what's the rule of thumb? What are some tactics? How do people create games like this that have a lot of playability? I don't want to say replayability because that's not really what it's doing, but like to keep people playing a game, to not make it too repetitive or boring. Like, what are we about? How do we get that done as a game designer?
So there's not really any rule of thumb about that. There's nothing that says, oh, this kind of game should be 8 hours. This kind of game should be 108 hours. Generally, you're going to find that RPGs are longer than shoot 'em ups, for example.
Well, I guess my question is really, I mean, that's another good topic. It's like each genre and how long they are. But I was really thinking of that one specific genre, like farming, like daily task, like how do you make those last and not get boring? Or what happens when they do?
I mean, all that is honing your gameplay loop and hitting your niche, I think.
Explain gameplay loop for those who don't know.
Okay, all right, good. We're diving deep. All right, so gameplay loop is let me see if I can arrange it into words. So
that'd be ideal for the podcast.
Now I feel on the spot.
Sorry.
Oh man. Maybe I should prep for questions more. Gameplay loop is basically the core mechanical way that you're interacting with the game continuously. So like basic gameplay loop of my game that I pitched earlier is There's like a small cutscene explaining the next jester that you're going to battle. Then you battle the jester. You select the different moves in the first couple turns, or figuring out the weaknesses of the jester that you're going against and like what their strengths are and how to appropriately defend against them and maximize the damage to topple them off. And then the next part of the loop is enacting the strategy that you've developed in those first early turns, or like the first attempt or whatever, and actually defeating them. And then once you defeat them, it goes back. You get another cutscene. You fight another jester in the same way, and back and forth like that. So I'm trying to think of like how I would describe Tears of the Kingdom's core gameplay loop.
I think it would be like you get a quest.
Yeah,
you do the quest. You
usually
get
it
a new
involves
quest.
a little bit of combat, maybe a puzzle solving.
And there would be like a separate loop of like, I guess because it is open world, it's a little harder, but it's like you decide what you want to do next and then you do it.
Yeah, I guess it probably, you could consider it having multiple gameplay loops, and then you as the player decide
how to go. Well, okay, so it's
switching
really
between them and such.
It's really get a quest, investigate the quest, like potentially do side quests to level up in order to achieve the quest. I think that's something that happens a lot. It's like you get pretty high level quests early, but you can't actually achieve them until you have like leveled up armor, leveled up like I
like
say
the
can't.
shrine quests and stuff.
Speedrunners say watch me, but
Core gameplay loop is what speedrunners destroy.
Right. But yeah, so I can see that. Okay, so it's just kind of like the pattern of play that like repeats.
I guess actually I should have just started with this. You are talking about the game Sticky Business.
Mm-hmm.
The Sticky Business core gameplay loop is you wake up in the morning, you design stickers, you package sales, you ship sales, and then go to bed, and then wake up in the morning, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's a very clear one because you have to go to sleep.
Because it's literally day by day, and so you see the beginning and end of every single loop, because and you're limited to basically doing, as far as I understand, the same actions every single day. There's like no expansion of that scope.
I guess that actually makes, to me, the gameplay loop of Animal Crossing more confusing, because there really isn't one.
Right.
Like even less so than an open world, because it's like
Animal Crossing is very much a find your own fun kind of game.
But even in The Sims, which I would consider also a find your own kind of fun, there's still a loop. Like there's like design a house, build a family, put family in house, like play, like that you're still kind of repeating.
So I would say that the core gameplay loop of Animal Crossing, at least the latest one, and I guess this applies to all of the ones that I've played at least, is paying off your debt.
Yeah, but they don't motivate you to do that in any way.
No, but...
Well, I shouldn't say in any way. You get slight rewards, but there's no punishment for not paying off your debt, so I feel like that doesn't have to be part of the core gameplay. But maybe that's more of like a bonk than it is just a...
yeah, maybe. I guess it depends. Like, I think that's what makes it cozy, is that there's no consequence for like not engaging with the core gameplay loop. But
yeah, but like you said, like, so Sticky Business I'd consider cozy, but like you have to engage with the gameplay loop to play it.
That's fair.
And that's part of the motivator. Like, even if I find myself getting a little bit tired of Sticky Business, it's doing the thing that literal real life, I think, online orders probably do for businesses, where like I know that when I click like next day, I get order notifications for my stickers, and I get really excited to see what stickers got ordered. And that's going to be different every single time, even if I'm like, doing the same thing every day. I'll get different orders for different stickers.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't mean to turn this into bonking Animal Crossing, but I think we've landed on what a gameplay loop is. So you're saying that like it's how engaging that gameplay loop is kind of how people...
Yes. Yeah. So the, I guess, game design technique here is to figure out what your gameplay loop is, and then either figure out how many iterations of that loop it takes to become boring to the niche that you're going for. And that niche can be as wide as, like, Tears of the Kingdom obviously has a pretty large niche compared to Sticky Business. And Sticky Business has like a much smaller like gameplay loop. But because it's a much smaller niche, you're going to get, people who are more interested in that gameplay loop and will stick with it longer than like the average gamer that like Tears of the Kingdom is going for. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just kind of knowing the limits of your loop. A lot of games extend this by having variations to this. And I talk about this in my game design ideas a lot, where I'm like, oh, and this basic core gameplay has a lot of permutations that you can add on. And then I'll describe like, oh, you can make, different obstacles in levels as you go on or whatever. And this is how like Mario and like Kirby do it. They'll vary the gameplay loop. You'll still run through a level, but it'll be like, here's ice blocks now, and you get to solve how to mess with ice blocks. Yeah. And now they've just expanded that the possible like gameplay loop. They've added a variation to it.
Yeah.
I guess wrapping up the loop here.
Our gameplay loop.
So wrapping up our gameplay loop here. Yeah. Number one, figure out what your loop is. You should be able to define what your gameplay loop is. 2, figure out how many iterations of that gameplay loop you have before it gets boring for like you like after like obviously create your customer and then figure out how bored your customer gets after how many loops. And then figure out if there's any like variations you can do to shift things up to extend that thing. So like throwing out random numbers. Oh, I've got a game with a very simple loop. It takes 10 iterations to get boring. If I add ice blocks to the levels, now it takes 15 iterations to get boring because I can add ice blocks in different ways. And now I've added fire wheels, whatever fire wheels means. That's just an evocative phrase. Now there's fire wheels in it. And now it can go on for 30
it's like Matchington.
Yes, that's actually
really good.
This is how we tie it all together. Matchington, you play 10 levels, and then they're like, we've got a new type of match. And then you play 10 more levels, and then they're like, we've got a new type of match.
Matchington is a match 3 game.
It's a
mobile game, which we have talked about on the pod, but a while ago. But yeah, they keep adding like, okay, now you have to like hatch birds by matching eggs, and now you have to like fill teacups or whatever. They just come up with literally anything else, and it's all pretty much the same, but it keeps it interesting enough.
Yep, and then you get to match the teacups and birds in one level, so that gives you another 50 levels of gameplay before it gets boring again. And I cannot believe I didn't think of that.
Like match 3.
I'm so glad that you like had the brain blast when I was talking about it. You were like, yes, fire wheels, Matchington, of course.
That's what happens. That's what happens when we're moving and grooving, working our minds.
Yeah, so that is how those match 3 games get 800,000 levels. A little random generation and adding to the gameplay loop.
All right. Well, you heard it here, designers, how to create an engaging loop and what a loop even is. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we always are. And now we're going to set up for the rapid fire round.
I was going to say, speaking of always good, let's create some definitely always good games in the rapid fire round. And now I did say it.
Yes. All right, keep that in.
I'm keeping it all. The rapid fire round is when we generate 3 random words. We have to come up with a game idea based on those 3 words in only 5 minutes, and we have to name the game. And now we're ready.
And I'm ready to start the timer, and I'm starting the timer, and it's starting now.
These are very good. Velvet, wilderness, wardrobe. Like, it's a druid dress-up game.
Okay. Druid dress-up game. But, like, is it a dress-up, like, doll kind of game? Like, with the simple Flash games where you just kind of, drag and drop? Or is it like a survival game and then the outfits have a direct impact on how survival?
Somewhere, I imagine it, and again, you can add, but I imagine it somewhere in between. So, because, like, velvet, wilderness, wardrobe, it's like maybe you're a druid in the wilderness, and maybe it's just because my brain is already on farming, but you have to harvest your supplies to make clothes.
Okay. What is velvet anyway? Velvet is deer antler sheddings, isn't it?
No.
What is velvet?
I'm pretty sure velvet is just like plastic.
What? Okay. Well, folks, we're looking it up. where we run
This
to
is
our
the research section of the pod.
it a type of tufted fabric in which the threads are even It was typically made from silk.
Oh, okay.
Where did I get my idea?
I have no idea. That was a completely out of the blue idea. Yeah, it says typically made from silk, but it also can be made from linen, cotton, wool, and synthetic fiber. So I think it's just the way it's put together. It can be any fiber.
Deer velvet covers the growing bone and cartilage that becomes deer antlers. Okay, so it's something.
Yeah, so it's called deer velvet, but it is not what we make velvet the fabric out of, to be clear.
Okay, fine.
Well, you must be relieved.
A little bit.
That velvet's not made from deer
I thought
antlers.
that it naturally gets shed.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures of like the deer and their antlers look like super gory. It's not because they've like just killed another deer. It's because the antlers are like fresh in, and the velvet comes off in like strips, and it looks like hanging bloody flesh.
Wow, that's cute. Anyway.
Yeah, so deer are horrifying, by the way. Okay, so you grow, collect, scavenge resources, you create clothes.
And then
how do we end this loop?
Yeah, okay.
What's the end of the loop before you start
in Barbie
again?
fashion show, it was a fashion show.
Okay.
But I don't know if that works in the wilderness. I like your idea of like having effects for the clothes, but then it's like, well, yeah, what is the loop? Like you go to sleep and you don't die? I don't know. Like protection.
Well, I mean, having new effects allows you to go to new areas, right? So like getting the materials for a snow outfit lets you go to the snow zone.
Yeah, but
which
I feel
lets
like
you collect materials
if it's
there.
outfit based, like then it gets the gameplay loop, to go back to our question, gets boring too fast, because it's like I'm just building outfits to build more outfits. Like there needs, like you said, there needs to be clothes. There needs to be like a fun like a fashion show or like a exhibition, or you sell them maybe.
The end is each area has a fashion boss that you have a fashion showcase against.
Okay, yeah, like a rap battle, but fashion.
Yes.
Got it. Love it.
And it's not just that you get the snow outfit and then you get into the snow zone, and the only thing that you do in the snow zone is collect stuff for like the fire outfit for the next zone. No, you can get different snow capable outfit pieces, and then you make your own custom outfit. You style yourself.
I like this.
With different things.
I like this.
With heavily customization ability.
This gives me what Tears of the Kingdom doesn't, where like Tears of the Kingdom rewards you for wearing an entire set of one thing, and like it'd be nice if it rewarded you for like, you look cool because you mixed and matched.
Yeah, I don't know how it determines. I don't know what the mechanic
have to talk
for
about that another time.
Yeah,
because we need
what's it called?
A name. What bark the fashion trees? Leave my fashion alone.
Leave my fashion alone. Okay, I'll accept it with 43 seconds left.
You're only accepting it because there's 43 seconds left.
No, I think it fits our normal style.
I just say what I think, and then we see what happens. I don't really put a lot of energy into it.
What was it? Leave our fashion alone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that tells you what the game is.
Yeah.
You instantly get the vision in your head, so it works. All right.
Beautiful. Okay, are you ready for our next 3 words?
Yeah, and I'm starting right now. It started.
I lost the link. Because I was looking up what velvet was.
Oh, no.
All right, here we go. Calendar, excuse, Frank. We had Frank last week.
To be frank, I'm tired of Frank. I feel like we also had excuse.
No, I don't think we did last week.
Maybe not last week, but I remember excuse fairly recently.
I mean, it's a random word generator.
Yeah,
we might generate the same random word.
Calendar, excuse, and Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, princess.
It definitely kind of makes you think like you have to come up with excuses to not attend events.
Oh, to like procrastinate.
Oh, okay, yeah. You could. I was thinking you need to like text to your friends, but this is better.
So instead, it's a game where it has deadlines. It has like a calendar date, but your goal is to never hit that calendar date by making it get extended into the future indefinitely. So like, all right, let's say there's a meeting for let's make it a meme. What's the date in Parks and Rec where April.
Oh,
It's March 31st,
first, I think.
So like you have a meeting on March 31st, let's say, and the game starts in March, and you have to push it until
No, March
next
31st is real.
March 30. I know, but that's the point of the episode.
Oh, right, that's the joke.
Spoiler alert if you haven't
That's
watched
the joke.
Parks and Rec. So it starts on March 1st, and your goal is to survive until the next March 1st without having the meeting.
But how do you do that?
Ooh, actually, yeah, you're right. We do have to come up with like the actual gameplay. We can't just say the idea and hope the programmers figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like your idea of procrastinating. Maybe like the more like menial tasks you do, the further the date gets pushed. But that doesn't make any logical sense. But at least you could gameplay that.
Well, I'm trying to think like to incorporate like the excuse part. Like you can send emails to your boss or whatever. But like I don't know how you construct those emails, and that obviously doesn't always work. And I'm liking the idea of it eventually escalating from like simple emails to like physical scare quotes, physical, like in-game physical sabotage, like, I don't know, slash your boss's tires or something so they can't come into work.
I definitely was thinking like working from home because that's what my life is.
Oh.
So I was like, oh yeah, I guess if I was like, you can't really do much. But I was like, you could clean your house instead of go to the meeting or something. But that's no. And I think frank and excuse. So basically it's like maybe the lose case is the frank. So it's like, because you have to be frank and be like, I just don't want to go to this meeting. And then like, you still have to go. Mm-hmm. Whereas like the excuse is like, you keep coming up with like, yeah, I like your idea of like it escalating where you have to maybe like select options in emails, or it's just like, it could just be a simple button, like send email like that you can't make it, send email that you can't make it. But like eventually you can't keep doing that.
So, okay, yeah. I think what it is level based. So it has multiple levels, and each level is like an escalating thing where like level 1 is literally like press the space bar and it will send the email. It'll type up the email and it'll delay it. But then it delays it for like 1 day, and then you have to like you take direct control of the character for the next task, and it's like you sneak into the break room and throw your boss's lunch away, and since they don't have lunch, they have to go out and get there, so then they have to delay the meeting because they're busy getting lunch or something. Mm-hmm. And
how much time do we have left?
We have 45 seconds.
Okay, I think we get the concept now.
Yeah.
So let's just do the name. It's March 31st doesn't exist.
No, let's go. I think we can come up with something.
Can you in 30 seconds? Go.
25 seconds.
Do it.
I've
sorry,
got nothing.
I can't.
Sorry. Sorry, I can't make it. Sorry, no meeting, please. No meeting. Okay, fine. It's the thing that you said.
What thing? Which one?
The first one that you said.
Oh, March 31st doesn't exist?
Yeah.
Okay, great. There you go. He looks so disappointed in me, listeners. He looks like he's shaking his head. He's just like, this should not be the name of the game.
Well, because it does exist.
That's the joke. It's part of a joke. But also, yeah.
I know, but the gameplay has diverged so much from the Parks and Rec reference beyond just the initial date of the meeting.
Well, no, because the whole point is to not go to meetings, which I feel like is the Parks and Rec reference.
Fair. Folks, we're getting the discourse.
That's what you're here for. Okay, we have a final round, and it's happening right now.
And I'm going to start the timer. Let's go.
Patience.
No.
Estimate. Consumer. This is like pretty easy. It's like Karen management. You have to estimate how patient your Karen will be in the store or something. There's like a frustration bar.
Oh, one of those kind of like push your luck mechanics where you are trying to get as close as possible to like gain as much as you can without crossing like the threshold of like frustration.
Oh, yes. Okay, this can be kind of based on a TikTok that I like, where the TikToker shows like but ways you can push customers who are being kind of rude to use buttons without actually getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So like making them wait. Like we used to do this thing. I used to work at a mini golf course, and we used to, if people came in really close to close, meaning we'd basically have to stay open later for them to run the whole course, we'd give them the ugliest golf balls we had. And like sometimes they'd even ask, they'd be like, do you have other colors? And we'd just be like, no.
Yeah. I'm specifically thinking to Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. They had a Speechcraft minigame where you could do like intimidation, flattery, or deception, and the characters would have a like mood towards you effectively, which was represented by a number. And depending on your character's skills, like, and which option you selected, it could go up or it could go down. So if you wanted to get a character to like 100, so they liked you a lot, and you started at like 65, and at 50, they would either stop talking to you or like attack you. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, is this what the mechanic you want to use for this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, if you intimidate them, it might give between -4 and -12 instead of give you any positives, right? Or it might give you between -4 and -12, or it might give you like between +4 and like +30 or whatever. But if you get the -12, you go from 65 down to 53.
I'm like pretty lost, honestly. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying too much math.
Yeah.
I'm basically saying that as you get low, you kind of are figuring out like the ranges of how like low or high you can get from a given option.
Okay.
And that's the pushing your luck part, because like if the game ends when you hit a certain number and you're one away from that number, and you know that like anything can trigger it, then it's like, do you exit and just like take whatever that like score that's going to give you? So are you going to try to boost it up even? Are you going to take that risk? So I get
consumer and I get estimate, because you're like estimating like where this is going to take you.
Yeah.
But for patience, like, are we rewarding people?
That number represents the patience
of the person. So it's like, I feel like, are we trying to break them but not too far, or are we trying to make them really happy? Because my idea was that it'd be funny if you're trying to like annoy them but not so much that they leave.
So the numbers that I was describing, the Oblivion version of this minigame, that represents like how much the character likes you. I don't think that part applies to this game. Just like the mechanical concept.
Got it. So I'm down with that.
Applies.
And then what's the actual concept?
So the actual concept is that number represents how much like you are making out on this.
Okay.
So like if it hits the bottom, it ends. The Karen gets what they want. You lose because you have to give the Karen what they want. But if you get to the maximum number, if we're using 50 and 100 as examples, you hit 100, the Karen doesn't get anything that they want, and they either like get completely kicked out of the store, or they get such a bad deal.
Okay, how much time do we have left?
We have 45 seconds, which you've been asking pretty consistently.
Oh, wow, yeah. It's because I can feel it being not enough time to name a game. That's why I was like, okay, great. Now what's next? Next?
Okay, all right.
What is it called? We need a good one.
Pushing patience.
Go ahead and make my day.
Go ahead and make my day, Karen.
Make my day, Karen.
I like that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. 17 seconds. You had another idea. What was there?
Oh, I was trying to pull off of like things that people say in retail all the time. So it's like, you know, like welcome in, or like, how can I help you? Or like something like that. But you like, go ahead and make my... What is that from? That's a quote.
Is that from Dirty Harry?
I don't know. I've never seen Dirty Harry.
Neither have I. But
it
sounds like... It sounds like...
Oh, it's from Sudden Impact.
Never heard of that one. Is that a Meteor movie?
Oh, wait, but it says Harry Callahan, played by Clint Eastwood.
Oh, was it the sequel to Dirty Harry? Okay.
So on Wikipedia, it says, "Go ahead, make my day" is a catchphrase from the 1983 film Sudden Impact, spoken by character Harry Callahan. But everything else is saying that, like, it's from Dirty Harry. Is Dirty Harry not the movie?
Oh my god, that would blow my. Okay, folks, this is what we're looking up.
Oh
now.
no, okay. Sudden Impact is the 4th in the Dirty Harry series, but it is the first time that the catchphrase was used. So there you go.
Okay. All right. We figured it out.
It was
We
important.
went on a journey, folks. That's
It's
what we do
important
here.
to do so because we always cite our sources on this show.
That's true. We do.
And if we miss one, feel free to send us an email at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can also send us great game ideas that you want us to read on the pod, game design questions that you want us to discuss, or topics you want us to discuss during our question and topic section. You can also send us words you want us to make games about. Just send us stuff. We love it. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at MakeThatGamePod. You can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MakeThatGame, and on YouTube, youtube.com/@MakeThatGame. And please do leave us a review on iTunes. We would love it. iTunes is kind of the review place for podcasts, so even if you don't listen there, love to have that review. That'd be so nice. And if you heard a game today that you think just needs to exist in this world, we encourage you to get out there and
Make that